Hi, Sagafi, Liberty Home Mortgage. What are we talking about today? We're talking about what, or probably who, is an underwriter. So if you're looking to buy a home today, or actually even if you're refinancing, you're gonna start hearing all of these terms as you go through the process. So what's gonna happen, I always tell people this, like when I pre-approve a buyer, I always tell them this, they say, hi, she's like, oh my God, like I'm so nervous. And I say, just keep saying this to yourself. It only gets worse, okay? And then they start laughing and I'm like, you know what the funny thing is? You actually think I'm joking with you. So anybody out there who has bought a home and is watching this video, they're like, no, that guy's right, okay? So the anxiety and the stress just mounts and mounts and mounts until you get to the very end, and then it just explodes like a nuclear bomb going off, for God's sakes. But during the process, you're gonna hear different terms. We're ordering the appraisal. We don't have the appraisal back. We have approval with conditions. My processor has that. My closing department, we're talking to the title company, we're balancing the wire, the this, the that. One of them is the underwriter has questions. Well, who is an underwriter, okay? An underwriter is an employee of the mortgage company. Okay, now in very isolated instances, sometimes the underwriters are subbed out, but 99% of the time they're not. They're employees of the lender that look at the loan and see if you, the borrower, actually qualify for the loan. This is where it gets a little bit ugly, is that the loan officer is the individual who you talk to as a borrower day in, day out. They interact with you. The underwriter sits about 10 rows back, 10 people, 10 layers back relative to the loan officer. And the underwriter looks through the guidelines, looks over all the documents. They're the ones that go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass. As a matter of fact, I tell people they go through it with the Hubble Space Telescope. So they go through it with a fine-tooth comb, though. They check out every single thing there is. The underwriter makes the final decision on the loan. They're the ones who say yes or no. More importantly, they're the ones that go through the loan and come back and say, hey, we need another pay stub. I need an explanation on this deposit. You don't have enough money to close. Where did this money come from? When are we closing? Where do you work at? You've changed jobs 3 times. I don't feel comfortable with that. I need a strong letter of explanation explaining why you went bankrupt. We need better verification of the child support you collect. The divorce decree has to be more thorough or more detailed out, or the verbiage is not exactly what we want, or the septic system needs checked. The appraised value is in question. The comparables are questionable. They're the ones that go through every single aspect of the loan. I'll give you an example. I'm a loan officer, right? So my job is to make sure the borrower gets a loan. When we're doing a loan on a condominium, there's something called the condo questionnaire. I can tell you a little bit about the condo questionnaire, but I don't really know that much about the condo questionnaire. So the truth of the matter is that I don't pay attention to all of those details. An underwriter does. The underwriter makes the final decision. They go through all of the paperwork. They come back with what are called conditions. Those conditions, quite honestly, drive people nuts, because people will say, Hesh, why is this coming up right now? Well, the underwriter doesn't see the loan until you're 15 days into the transaction, 10 or 15 days in. Sometimes they see it 5 days in. Most of the time it's 10 to 15 to 20 days in, but they see it into the transaction. The other thing is when you submit information in, sometimes the documents you submit causes an underwriter to come up with more questions. So borrowers will say, well, Hesh, like, why every time I send something in, are you asking even more questions? Well, that's the underwriter. It's not my questions, that's the underwriter's question. So no matter where you're going for the loan, doesn't matter where, there's always a decision maker who unfortunately you will not be speaking to. Your loan gets in front of them, they ask the questions, that person is the underwriter. Make sure you're subscribing to my page. Check out my other videos. I have videos on credit repair, VA loans, FHA loans, appraisal guidelines, just 1,000 different things, but you gotta be subscribed to see them all. Share this on your page, especially if you're a real estate agent. And to my guy, Stefan Ho, who gave me the Sublime shirt, thank you. And there, I wore the shirt. How's that?